what was it like from that moment of you standing in the ring, calling him out, and then you're standing across the ring from Floyd Mayweather, and how that fight went for you?
Man, I mean, all this fight week. I mean, it was a ride just from when we signed for the fight, all access, media tours. I mean, I had that hiccup where I got arrested for. I mean, it was.
Okay, hold up.
An Empire Boxing and Unlearning Network production.
Welcome back to the Empire Boxing Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Jay, and joining us tonight, I'm excited about this. We have Robert the Ghost Guerrero, boasting a record of 47 fights, 38 wins and 6 losses, 20 coming by way of knockout. He held world champion in multiple weight classes. Additionally, he's held multiple interim titles at the lightweight and welterweight division. He has fought alongside legends in the sport, he himself included. And joining him is Roberto Jr., his son, making his pro debut March 9th in Mexico. Guys, welcome to the podcast, and thank you so much for spending your evening talking to me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having us. We're excited to be on.
Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. And we were just saying before the show, you guys are rainy over in Cali, but that's probably pretty good for a camp, I'm guessing. You want to be like focused, not distracted, grinding away. So maybe a little bit of rain's not a bad thing. What do you think?
Right now it's the worst because we like to run out in the hills, so there's a lot of rain out there, a lot of mud and stuff. So
doesn't that just add like a bit of a rocky drama element to it with the rain and the gray sweatsuit and the whole mix? No?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, we do a lot of training out in Vegas also.
Right.
So, we go out to Mount Charleston where it's snowing out there. It's like below zero, so it's freezing. Yeah. And then you come back down into the city and it's like 90 to like 105 degrees. So it's like up and down over there.
Yeah, huge climate changes. How does that affect are you cutting weight, Robert Jr.?
Yeah, currently I'm bringing it down little by little.
Okay.
So
and is that travel and a bit of the climate change, is that affecting the weight cut at all, or are you on track?
No, it's improving it actually.
Like a pro. Nice. Very good. Okay, cool. I'm going to start with you, Robert. I want to know, how boxing first came into your life. I'm guessing from what I researched, your dad was an amateur. He was quite a champion in the amateur scene. And so I'm guessing there was an influence from your father involved, but why don't you take us through that story?
Yeah, definitely boxing family. It actually started with my grandfather.
Wow.
Who I was actually named after, Robert Guerrero. He was a boxer out in Texas. And he was boxing amateur, turned professional, but he wasn't able to move on his career because he had 11 kids.
Wow.
So he's like, I'm not making no money boxing, so I gotta go to work and feed all these kids. So kind of put a halt to his boxing career. But that being said, he migrated over out here to California from Texas. Brought my father out here as a little kid. My father started boxing, started training them. All my uncles and stuff trained. And yeah, my father he had a solid amateur career. San Francisco Gold Glove champion, also Gold Glove champion in Texas. And then when he was getting ready to turn pro, he got in a bad accident. And back when he was younger, getting ready to turn pro, they didn't have the doctors they had now. So as soon as he got in the accident, he went through a windshield. He was pretty banged up. So they told him, hey, you never box again. So, that ended his career as a fighter. But that happening, he threw it onto us, his boys. I have 5 other brothers that box also. And I'm the one that's took it the furthest. I was the most dedicated one out of all of them. So, they just passed everything down to me and trained me and got me on that grind and did everything we had to do to make it to the top. But yeah, we come from a boxing family, and now it's Robert Jr.'s turn.
The legacy. Wow. So what was that like, having your dad sort of impart that legacy on you? Like, okay, son, carry the torch. Like, was that something you were ready for at the time, or did you have to go get ready for that?
Nah, you know what? I was actually ready for it from day one. I mean, we were raised in boxing kids. And just training and working hard, watching my brothers box. I always wanted to outdo them because I have 3 older brothers. So with the 3 older brothers, my dad paid a lot of attention to them. So what I would have to do was work extra hard just to get my dad's attention. And if you see me and my brothers standing side by side, I'm like the complete oddball. Really light skinned, really light skinned. I'm a little bit taller than them, and also I was always skinnier than them. So yeah, I'm just like the complete oddball. But my dad always had like his attention on the older boys because they were competing a lot more in the amateurs, national tournaments, and stuff like that. But with me, I had to fight for that attention from him. So it made me work even harder, bring me to a different level. So it was exciting. It was exciting to be out there and get my dad's attention and him start putting everything into me. So when we did that, it just makes you a better person and a better fighter and just all around.
Yeah. And I can imagine having, the being surrounded by brothers also in boxing really added a level of sort of toughness and resilience that you had to have even before your pro career began.
Definitely. The competitiveness with all of us was insane.
Yeah. Wow. And fascinating. So, and now, Robert Jr., like, so you're in a similar position. I don't know, brothers and sisters who you have, but you've now been passed the torch from your dad and there's a legacy behind you. What does that mean to you to kind of pick that up and run with it?
But it means the world to me because, well, like he was saying earlier, I got big shoes to fill. And I'm the only boy out of my siblings. So,
okay.
So I get all the attention mostly.
How are your sisters' hands? Are you watching out for them or what?
No, my older sister, she's thinking about fighting amateurs. So
nice.
I might have a sparring partner soon. You never
Wicked.
know. Yeah.
Fantastic. And so what's that like being, I'm assuming you guys are working together. Is your dad your coach? Yeah.
Yeah, he's my only coach. Him and my grandpa.
Grandpa's still involved in the mix. Okay, cool. And what's that like for you having, these two boxing legends, in your corner teaching you the ropes? And do you feel some pressure with that along with the learning?
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure because just all the accomplishments my dad had when in his career. And I really enjoy it because I got my grandpa who knows what to do in those type of situations, building up and everything. And my dad too, I got his experience on top of that. That's
amazing. Now, Vegas, you guys were mentioning, you're going to Vegas to do some camps. Vegas has really turned into a place where a lot of people from boxing and MMA are now kind of going to Vegas for some camps. We're seeing that city just really turn up in the fight community. What kind of resources do you guys have there? What gyms are you going to? What kind of work are you getting when you're heading to Vegas?
Well, when we head out to Vegas, I have a whole full-blown training camp out of Vegas that I've had for my whole career. Getting ready. So I got a full gym there. I got a fully furnished house with a guest house for sparring partners and everything. So
nice.
We're pretty set up there. But when we do go out and get sparring from different guys, we usually go to the pound for pound gym out there in Vegas, and it's probably one of the most stacked gyms right now in the world. So you have Bob Santos there, who actually managed my career and I did my cuts and helped my father alongside him with him to get me to the top. So, we got a lot of resources out there, especially with PDC and Louis de Cubis and everybody out there. So, it's nice to be able to have that, especially with a young fighter like my son. When I came up, it was a grind. We came from nobody knowing who I was to grinding to the top through a bunch of different, promoters. We went through Goose and Tudor Promotions, Golden Boy. Then we got without him in the PPC. So, yeah, it's been an incredible road, and to be able to lay that foundation for my son to step into the ring. It's nice. It's nice, and it's one of those luxuries that you got to take advantage of, and also work hard too, and not let it get to you.
Mm-hmm. Talk to me about your time with Golden Boy. I recently just was chatting with Roberto Diaz, who was the Golden Boy matchmaker for over 15 years, and he had some interesting, nostalgia about that experience. What was your experience like working with De La Hoya's company there?
I had a great time with Oscar. He did a lot of big fights in my hometown.
Mhm.
That's the days where they had Richard Schaefer with them.
Yep.
Um, so I mean, it was incredible. I went from working hard and grinding through championship fights to big championship fights and setting myself up. So I mean, I had a good time there. I had no bad times there. Fulfilled my contract and just had had better opportunity without him. So with
That's
that way.
fantastic. And if you don't mind me asking, like, what was sort of the upsides of working with Al Heyman? Like, what did that offer you that you were looking for at that stage in your career?
Just bigger pays. Also, he had a lot of TV time. With opening up, I actually opened up the NBC cards with the PBC, so I knew there was a lot of TV gigs coming, and that's the one thing is out of sight, out of mind. You want to be on TV all the time. And Golden Boy was losing their edge a little bit with the TV gigs, and they only had select TV gigs. So Al Hammond he had a great package for us to cut in, and it was one of those offers you couldn't refuse.
That's awesome. It's interesting, like between your generation and your son's generation, the way we're consuming, sports content, TV switching, the Showtime leaving. We have social media, such a huge presence now. How has that changed sort of the self-promotion element from where you were to where your son is having to navigate the world now?
I mean, it's incredible. I mean, look what we're doing now. It's going to go out to millions of people, watch this. And before, when I was coming up, I had to go to every news station. I had to go to every newspaper. We had like barely Facebook was coming out, MySpace, stuff like that. But that social media wasn't as big as it is now. I mean, you got videos, you got face-to-face, like what we're doing now, podcasts. There's so many outlets to market yourself where even just on Instagram and Facebook and stuff, you could post videos of yourself training or fighting or sparring or even live stream. So, I mean, it's incredible for fighters now to be able to build their brand and their name and come up because, like I said, out of sight, out of mind. And, you got to be putting yourself out there because that's what makes a fighter is the viewers, people watching, fans. And also, too, that's what comes along with paychecks. I mean, you look at kids like Ryan Garcia, who have an incredible following on YouTube, where he's not even a champion, but he's making big time championship paydays.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, it's incredible. It's amazing right now, and I think it's the perfect time to be going into the sport. And man, I tell my son, all it is working hard now and doing what you got to do to be ready for fights and stuff like this, and putting butts in front of the TV and having an audience that watch you.
Yeah, absolutely. Roberto Jr., how important is, marketing and self-promotion to you at this stage, and what challenges do you have with it or any difficulties?
It's very important to me. I got a pretty good following right now, and I got a lot of friends that will support me and repost my stuff. So that's going along real good. And just the sponsorships, like I'll get a couple good sponsorships are coming in so far. So
amazing. Is that all from your own kind of self-promotion?
Yeah, it's all from me just throwing it out there. And close family, friends, their businesses and stuff like that.
Amazing. And honestly, truly, that's like what the climate has really turned into. It's really turned into fighters have to be willing to market themselves. You have to be willing to get out there and put yourself out there. And then the doors will open in a whole bunch of different ways, I think, than prior generations. So very cool. Now,
Definitely.
The landscape is different.
You look up to Canelo, who he's learning English, so he can cross over to the English market a lot more. That's like what I have Robert Jr. working on his Spanish a lot. I'm like, hey, you got to work on the Spanish so you can cross over to the Latin fans, and especially going out to Mexico to go fight. We're probably going to do a few fights out in Mexico, just travel around the country and just to build that fan base.
Absolutely. Definitely. When you made your pro debut, Robert, did you have any idea what was ahead? Like, did you know you were destined to be a champion, or was this just kind of unfold in front of you fight by fight?
Yeah. You know what? From day one, when I first had my first amateur fight, it was that's all my dream was to be a world champion. And I told teachers, I told just people every time, yeah, I'm going to be a world champion. I'm going to be a world champion. And that's all I wanted to do, become a world champion. And I was, not letting nothing stop me doing it. So when it came time for my pro debut, I literally ran to the ring. I didn't wait. My team was barely coming out, and I ran to the ring. Yeah, I was so excited. I turned around. I'm like, hey, where's everybody at? They're barely walking out.
Yeah, they're doing the walkout. You're doing the run out. Yeah.
Yeah. So as soon as my music came out, I ran out there, and I mean, I was super excited. I had legendary cutman Chuck Bodak in my corner. Then my father and Bob Santos. I mean, it was exciting. I was making my pro debut on Macho Camacho Jr. Fight. So it was a big deal for me. I went out there, and I'm so excited. I would need you all.
Wow. And what was that like for your brother, seeing the odd one out sort of skyrocket to the top of the food chain there?
Oh, they were 100% supportive. They were excited about it, especially, at that time they already stopped boxing and just watching my amateur career and then turn professional. They were just super excited and pumped up to see their younger brother just feeling it.
That's amazing. And when it comes to, the sort of the process and the mindset behind that, like, I always find it really interesting. Some of the greatest fighters of all time have had that vision in them from day one. This, I'm going to be a champion, as nothing, no one's going to stop me. And I feel like that's a very elite mindset. And I guess by elite, I mean, it's not very common. It's those few people that rise above that seem to have this built-in tenacity, this incredible focus that's just within them. Was there ever something that kind of knocked you down or made you doubt that? Or did you hold on to that from day one?
Oh, I held on to it from day one. Let me show you something to do really quick.
Yeah.
This right here, 1992, my very first amateur fight. As soon as I won this, man, I walked out of that ring and I told my dad I'm going to turn it into a world championship bout. And
Wicked.
I pretty much did. I was so excited. I was so excited to be able to start winning trophies and national tournaments and just doing everything. And my whole goal was to become a world champion and do something in my family that my family's dreamed of throughout the generations, and to be able to accomplish that. I mean, it was awesome stuff. I mean, I let nothing hold me back at all.
Wow.
And I tell this to my son all the time. When you have a goal at something, you got to just step on that gas and you just keep going. I don't care what comes at you, what comes out in life. You gotta always work hard and keep persevering.
I think that's just such an admirable mindset, And Roberto Jr., do you have that same sort of mindset as your dad? Do you find that within yourself, or is that something you have to work on a little bit more and maybe meditate on or set your focuses? Do you find you get distracted, or are you the same as your dad that way? It's just there.
Yeah, it's definitely there. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, so
nice.
Yeah, keep on pushing every day.
Yeah, and what kind of dreams have you set up for yourself?
I'm coming for everything. I want the WBC, the IBS, the WBO, WBA. I want everything. I want to be just known as one of the greats.
Amazing. Amazing. I have no doubt, based on the I guess it's genetic. The genetic mindset between your family and the tenacity, the hard work. I'm very impressed. That's very admirable. All right, cool. So let's talk about some of your fights, Robert. I was looking through, and when I was living in LA at the time, I was at Trinity Boxing Club, and we used to get Andre Berto come by, and he'd hang out with us a little bit, chat. Nice guy. And you fought. Nice, yeah, super nice guy. You fought and dominated Berto as a welterweight. And notably, so I want to talk about that fight, but I also want to talk about notably that you called out Pretty Boy Floyd at the end of that fight. Tell us what that moment was like for you.
Man, it was one of those moments that, I mean, you can't describe. Going in there with Berto, I mean, and beating him the way I did, I had to call him Floyd. I had to call him out. So I was like, I'm going to call him out, let the chips fall where they may, see if if the fight gets made. And sure enough, it got made.
Yeah, and it got made again in 2013. You saw that fight through. Now, what was it like from that moment of you standing in the ring, calling him out, and then you're standing across the ring from Floyd Mayweather, and how that fight went for you?
Man, I mean, all his fight week. I mean, it was a ride just from when we signed for the fight, all access, media tours. I mean, I had that hiccup where I got arrested for. I mean, it was.
Okay, hold up. Tell us about that. And how was that for the mindset? Did that rattle you a little bit, or were you able to get it back on track?
No, I wasn't rattled at all. Well, for one, I mean, I'm a gun advocate, so I mean, I teach my children gun safety, everything, and carry. I mean, it's safety to me. So
yeah,
what I was doing was because when I was on the media tour, I had my wife with me, and when I had my wife with me, and I'm on a tour like that, especially how crazy it is with media, people just coming around. You're in the biggest fight in the world, and all eyes are on you. So I always, whenever I'm with my family, I take care of my family. I make sure that everybody's safe. So I carried. So every city that I went to, I carried my pistol. And what you do is when you travel with a pistol, you go and you have to declare it and show them, it's not loaded. There's a lockbox. There's this.
Mm-hmm.
You put it in your bag. You fill out paperwork. You check it in. And I do that every place I go and I take it. So I get to New York, and I know I don't have the permit to carry to New York, but I'm on the media tour, so I have it with me. I get to the airport after we do all the media stuff. We're going to fly back to Vegas for training. And as soon as I get to the counter to declare my pistol, the lady did not know what to do. She's like, just put it in your bag. I flip it up. I go, no, you got to fill out a paper. And so you guys know that I have a pistol in my bag. So it goes through and it gets stolen. They can trace it or whatever, or how it got taken out of the bag. Mm. So she didn't know what to do. She goes, hold on, let me call somebody. So she calls Port Police. Port Police come and they go, hey, you have a permit for that? I'm all, well, I got a CCW to carry 39 states, but I don't have a permit to New York. But I'm on tour and just, traveling. And this is one stop. So he goes, all right, well, come with me. They take me in. They arrest me. And I'm like,
no.
What the hell's going on?
Oh,
so they arrest me, and then I go in, and I'm asking, like, hey, what's going on? They're like, oh, well, you have to see a judge because you need a permit just to have a pistol here or a weapon here in New York. So I'm like, okay. So you got to go and see a judge and get arraigned, and then, you'll be on your way. It probably take like an hour. So I'm getting there. I go into, they take me into Brooklyn, and I'm sitting there in the cell, and I'm talking to a guy, one of the CEOs there, and he's like, hey, Robert, I know you're fighting. What do you need? You need water, food, whatever. I know you're training for a big fight, all this stuff. I go, I'm like, I just need some water. Then he comes back and he goes, hey, man, you better call your lawyers or somebody because they're trying to charge you with like 4 felonies. I'm like, holy smokes, what the heck's going on? Yeah, so then my lawyer comes, and then my manager leaves, she was telling them, they get it all arranged. I go in front of the judge, plead not guilty, and then they set me a date to come back. Well, throughout all that, they just signed that bill where you have to have a permit, but it wasn't in effect yet. So I spent all this money on lawyers, lost my pistol, all this hassle.
Oh, no.
And it got thrown out. They're like, oh, we have nothing to charge you with. And I'm like, well, what am I doing here?
You wasted all my time.
So it didn't affect me at all because I was kind of freaked out when they told me they were going to be 4 felonies. I'm like, man, that's like prison time. I'm like, what the heck?
Wow.
So, as soon as they took care of that, I just threw it to the side and said, you know what? We got to keep focusing on getting ready for the fight. And you do what I got to do. Kind of freaked out Floyd, though, because me and him had some altercations and we argued a bit, and he seen I wouldn't back down from him. And in the back of his head, he was thinking after, like, wow, this guy had a pistol with him the whole time. No why he didn't back down. So,
Oh my God.
yeah,
Curveball of the century. Okay.
yeah. So after I got in trouble with that, like his whole team like changed their whole demeanor. Like, whoa, we got to watch out. There were sheriffs and president, all kinds of stuff. So it kind of was like, kind of played like, hey, this guy don't mess around. He's a little crazy in the head, carries pistols and stuff like that. But yeah, so it was like I was laughing about it. But man, I mean, the event was incredible, though. I mean, shit, I wish I could do it again.
Wow. Incredible. And then, you've faced so many notable opponents, people that are still, very much on topic in boxing, Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia. What was amongst all of them, all of your, your fights, what was the most memorable?
The most memorable, probably, I have to say, probably Keith Thurman.
Right. Tell us why.
Yeah, so Keith Thurman is probably the most memorable for me because, I mean, we opened up PBC and just going into that fight, I mean, I was training hard, everything, and 2 or 3 days before the fight, I started getting the flu.
Oh no!
So I go in there, I'm in the dressing room, my body aching, drink some Theraflu, just because I was congested, my body, my legs, everything are hurting. So I go out there to the fight, first 5 rounds, just trying to get myself going, my body going. And Keith is a great boxer. He's great on his toes. He's got a good jab. And if you're in on your game and you can't get some, he's just going to sweep you. So first 4 rounds, I mean, he's peppering me up and I'm just coming forward, trying to get started. 5th round comes, he catches me and I go down. I'm just like, oh my gosh. I'm down 5 rounds plus a knockdown. I got to knock this guy out. So after I get up, that's why I just push on the gas. I'm like, man, I just got to suck it up and just start pressuring. So I just went on a crazy run, just pressuring them. And, man, I put a good beating on him throughout that second half of the fight. If I would have got started a little bit earlier and wasn't sick, I really feel I would have stopped him. The last round, he was hanging on for dear life. And then walking out of the fight, back to the dressing rooms when we see the doctor, he walks back there and just collapses. Throw him on the gurney and rush him to the hospital.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like they're like, you need to go to the hospital. I'm like, nah, there's nothing wrong with me. I just got to cut.
Wow, that's like a commercial for Theraflu.
Yeah, I had the flu and man, I just it's one of those memorable fights because, being sick, grinding through, working hard, pushing through and just overcoming what I had to overcome. I didn't get the win, but he got the win, but I feel I won the war because I destroyed him. Yeah,
absolutely. Wow, what incredible! It's so much adversity.
So anytime my kids get a bump on their head, they call it a third.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, there's so many things behind the scene from the onset of the camp to the weight cut to the negotiations to everything that happens along the way. There's a lot of conversation right now about, I think S&C coaches and different strength and skill coaches are getting involved and camps are changing and the way people are running their camps, the amount of hard sparring, controlling the variables, trying to keep the athletes safer, like that sort of evolving a little bit we're seeing in boxing. And I'd love both of your opinions on where do you think sparring fits into camp and injury management and how do you personally, help your son in his camp mitigate injury, keep his skills and intensity as high as he needs to keep his fitness level, his reps in, but also, mitigate damage. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, it's very important, especially when you're in big money fights. Everything's on the line. You want to be 100% healthy all the time. And then also, too, you want to be able to lead the sport, being able to talk. Yeah. Being able to compensate, not being hurt, not being injured, not having no brain damage or anything like that. So It's very important, and a lot of things are changing. Diets, stuff like that. A lot of new studies are coming out, and it also comes down to coaches' experience. A lot of these young coaches that are coming up, new coaches coming into the professional rank or the professional world, they're starting to learn. I mean, my advice to all these young coaches coming up with the young kid is to get under their wing of an experienced coach that could teach them the ropes and teach them stuff, because not only the fighter has to be a student, but the trainer has to be a student also. And that's what my father did. Was my father went under Joe Goosen's wing and worked with him and learned a lot of stuff from Joe Goosen, and how to run cans, how to push, how to pull, sparring, different things that it helped him out a lot. It helped him out when I branched off on my own with my father in my career. And to be able to have that experience for my son, it's nice, the diets, eating right, making sure the right strength and conditioning, making sure he's not getting too crazy sparring, no gym wars, staying healthy, knowing when to run hard, when they're not running hard, and just knowing how to pull the reins when you need to. So it's very important, especially with young fighters, because I know when I was younger, all I wanted to do was full throttle, where sometimes I would get injured. I would not say nothing to anybody, not even my father, any coaches, nothing. I'll just keep going and hide it. Until it was like no longer like, man, when I tore my shoulder, it was like, all right, I can't even pick it up, so I can't hide it now.
Yeah.
So just knowing like, hey, all right, take the time off. You got to take care of this injury, because you don't want it to affect you in the long run.
Yeah.
You don't want to carry on an injury. Like when I tore my shoulder, I was getting ready to fight Marcos Montana. I was going to defend the IBF championship of the world series with him, and I was 10 days out to the fight. But I've always had the shoulder problem for years. But I would just rehab a little bit, push-ups, let it rest, and then I felt good again. But that time, I threw just a weird angle and threw a weird punch when my rotator was open. I just destroyed it. Where when I went in for surgery, the doctor was like, man, they looked like someone threw a grenade in his shoulder and just blew it up. Like, deep has torn. I mean, it's crazy. So it's like, if you would have came in a lot way before, it would have been an easier fix. Now you got to be out longer, more physical therapy, and we still got to see how you come back from the surgery.
Yeah.
So I mean, just things like that, you got to be aware of that as a coach, and having that experience. Now, like, hey, your shoulder bothering you? All right, let's shadow box, or let's lighten up on this, but we can still do this to stay in shape and just make the right moves. So I think now, especially with social media, YouTube, a bunch of different stuff, people are posting a lot of different videos and stuff like that. It helps out, and it's just being a student of the game, a student of the game also as a coach. So I mean, that's one of the things that is with the coaches, is they got to really step back and look at the bigger picture, and not try to push your fighter too hard to move along, but just right where they're moving along where they're supposed to.
Yeah, it truly was, I think, back in the day, the real war of attrition, with yourself, with your sparring partners, with your coaches. And now it seems like, the sport is evolving a lot more. There's way more knowledge on the S&C front, on the rehab front, on the common pitfalls for boxers, just based on the asymmetries in the hips, asymmetries in the shoulder, what kind of issues that creates, because boxers all kind of emulate sort of the same sort of injury or niggles that continue, right? Because of the nature of the sport. So I think that evolution is really positive, and it's going to create, I think, an even more, just a more well-rounded breed of up and coming athletes, So Roberto Jr., I'd love to hear from you. Like, what is your camp look like? Take us through your day to day as you're nearing your fight for March 9th.
This is how my day goes, basically. Right now, we're on a week break from school. So I get up.
And how old are you?
I just turned 17 on Sunday.
Perfect. Wow. Great.
Yeah. So I'm in my junior year of high school right now. But on a school day, I'll wake up in the morning before school. I'll go on a 5 mile run, come back, shower, get dressed, then go to school, come back, and then get ready for the gym. And then now on the weekends, and since I have this week off, we get up running in the morning, come back, we train at around like 12 o'clock. And then this is what we do. We come back and we work on cars.
Work on cars. Okay. Like
Yes.
you guys got some like old muscle cars or
We-
something? You're like fixing up yourself, or what does that mean?
We work on our lowriders.
Yeah, we built
Oh
bicycle
yeah.
lowrider.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So we
Okay.
just figure out things to do on them. You know, something's messed up, or we've been building our project car. So it's 64 Impala SS.
Sick.
It's mine. We've been building it for about 4 years now. As a father-son, so that's what
Very
we've been
cool.
working on mostly.
I feel like that just like cars of that era and the actual mechanical skills involved in maintenance and change is is a dying skill. You know, with all the way that vehicles have changed to be so much more, technology forward. That is very cool. And what a skill to have going into you're going to be the guy that everyone calls and be like, yo, my car, can you come take a look? Like now you're going to know all that. Yeah, I bet. So, okay. So what's that like? You're 17. You said you're in your freshman year. Yeah.
Junior year.
Junior year. Okay. And you're like, you're amongst all your peers. How do they view what you do? How do they relate to what you do? And how do you balance, being a kid and being a pro athlete at the same time?
It's kind of hard because, my friends will see me and they'll be like, whoa, he's a boxer. Whoa. And then in December, we were at the Shoe Palace headquarters. We were out there and we were talking about, endorsement deals and everything. So they'll see me post like, oh, Shoe Palace headquarters, and they just like really trip off of that. But most of them are really supportive, and it's just everyday day-to-day life. And most of it, it's normal to me. And it's just, that's just really normal to me. I've had to grow up since I was about like 15, because that was the age I started really coming up, and he'll leave the training camp and I'll be the man of the house. So, yeah.
How important? Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, it's kind of not too bad for him, I don't think, because Gilroy's like a small town. So there's only like 2 high schools. So everybody watching my career, knowing him, he's my son. They kind of already have like an idea, like, all right, his son's gonna turn professional, and he's gonna start following in the footsteps. And watching his amateur career, all the kids around town seeing him. So they kind of like grow up watching him grow as a fighter, and now that he's gonna step into the big boy ring and turn professional. I think everybody's like really hyped up around town and excited. And then also too, I have 2 other nephews that box professional also. Jesse James Guerrero, Victor Guerrero Jr. They're already professionals. Both of them are 5-0. So coming from a small town, they already know it's a family thing.
Yeah.
So it's just exciting. Like there's a big buzz going around town because Robert Jr. turned professional. And,
that's awesome.
I'm skinny fighting, so they're like, man, this is crazy.
Yeah, last week we were at Harbor Freight getting some private spray cans, and this guy that was checking us out, he goes, "Hey, you're fighting soon, huh?" And he goes, "Oh no, I just fought last month." And then he goes, "No, I'm talking about your son." And we were I was like, "Oh, me?" And I was just like, I was shocked to get that recognition.
That's amazing. Now, and I mean, it's just going to be something that you're going to have to, it's a storm in a way that you're going to have to weather as you continue in your career. How important is it for you to stay, grounded and focused when, the media presence gets bigger, the fan base gets bigger, you're in more difficult situations, as a professional, and what does that mean to you to stay grounded and And how is having your dad by your side going to help you through that?
It's gonna help me a lot because he's been through it all already. So he'll know he'll know how to guide me and what to do, and I'll go off his experiences with the fans and with the press and everything. So I have a lot of his help from me.
Yeah. You kind of have the cheat code in a lot of ways, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice. I mean, he's been ringside for like these big events. Me getting in the ring, being around media a lot and seeing how it's done. So, like you said, I mean, it's kind of like a cheat code. So, I mean, it's nice because you do have the upper hand to be able to experience that, and also, that visualization of seeing it all the time helps you. So, I told him you just got to work on everything and just keep on going, man. Work on your communication skills and know how to be in front of the camera and talk and not freeze up.
Yeah, absolutely. Robert, what led to the retirement announcement that you made?
The
How was
retirement
that?
announcement
Yeah, what was going on for you at the
was
time?
just fight after fight after fight. Then I had a bad outcome. I couldn't understand why I went down like 5 times. I'm like, what's going on? I'm not even dazed or hurt. Just a lot of work over the years. And about boxing since I was a kid and just training. I felt that I retired prematurely just from the fight. That's it.
So would you say it was more emotional or was it premeditated?
Yeah, it was more emotional. Just just be fuddled on what was going on, and just so much training. I mean, I was
Worn
fighting
out.
back, a lot of wars. Fighting bigger guys. A lot of people that watch my career, they forget I started at 22 pounds, moved all the way up to 47, and then when I went up to 47, I jumped up from 135, 2 weight classes by at 47 after the shoulder surgery. Being out for eating up. And a lot of people that, because he can't make weight no more. Now, I actually did that because of the fact that throughout my career, I was getting dodged a lot. And I had like that diabetes effect where they don't want to fight you. And just being a lefty, at featherweight, long and lanky, with power and speed, and I can box, Marquez, Morales, all these guys that just said, nope, not fighting that guy. Then I'll move up, get into the number 1 contender. Nope, not fighting that guy. Do it again at 35. Nope, not that guy. So then I had all these guys and here on everybody. Nobody would want to get in. So then I go, you know what? I'm just going to jump up to 147 and start making a dent there. And when they move up to 47, I'm going to be right there and have to fight. Never happened, but, I got the Floyd fight. And then everybody else I found was a lot bigger. I mean, Keith Thurman, Berto. But that Berto fight really hurt me. That fight really hurt me mentally because of the fact that when I fought Berto, I kind of had a chip on my shoulder because people were saying, this guy's crazy. He's up in 2 weight classes, a little guy. So I was kind of mad. And I wanted to show everybody, like, hey, I can be in there with these guys. I don't care what you say. And that's just the way my mentality is. He said, I can't do it. I'm going to step on the gas and show you I can do it. And then Bruno kind of disrespected me and said, Guerrero, I'm not this guy out. He's a little guy. And then he had me waiting on him. We had a teleconference, and I was waiting for about 40 minutes for him to get on. And he was at a mall shopping. And he goes, oh, I was just shopping. Hold on, let me get some more words. Quiet. I'm like, oh my God. I've been sitting here waiting. While you're
disrespect.
I was living. So, and then he goes, oh, yeah, little Guerrero, that little guy, yeah, I'm going to knock him out. I'm like, oh, that's on. So when we met in the face-to-face in the press conference, the last press conference, I told him, I go, hey, you better knock me out because if you don't, I'm going to beat you up for 12 rounds. I'm going to give you the worst beating you ever had in your life. And he looked at me and just said, whatever. So I go, okay. So when I did fight him, first round I dropped him. And then I kind of let him get off. I beat him up a bit, let him get off. I come back to the corner. And then my father's like, hey, what's going on? Why didn't you jump on him and like just take them out? I go, well, I don't want to knock them out. I want to beat them for 12 rounds.
Yeah. I made a
And then
promise.
I dropped them again and then let them go again. And they're like, Junior, what are you doing? You know, Berto's a big puncher. All he is catching one shot. I go, I don't care. I'm going to beat him down for 12 rounds. So after the last round, I go up to him. We're doing an interview, and I go, hey, I told you I was going to be a man of my word, and I was going to beat you for 12 rounds if you didn't knock me out. And that's why I did. Take your glasses off. He took his glasses off and the ball slammed. So,
Yeah.
but after that fight, that being said, after that fight, I kind of had like a big swollen hair. Like, yeah, I can handle these guys. You know, they can't handle me. Because Berto was at the time one of the biggest guys in the division, one of the strongest, fast. You know, he knocked these guys out, knocked out Victor Ortiz. I mean, Lord dropped Victor Ortiz. I mean, just beating everybody up. So that being in my head, I thought I could just lock everybody down. We lock this guy down. I'm gonna lock this guy down. Where a lot of people got accustomed to seeing me do that. You know, going to war, hanging out with these guys. Where early in my career, as a lightweight, a featherweight, I mean, I was always on my shoulder, boxing behind the jab. So this last fight when I fought Guerrero and when I fought Ortiz, I boxed one, used my jab, stayed on the outside, stay clean, don't get touched, don't get hurt, nothing like that, and just move on to the next one. So everybody's like, yeah, what's going on with Guerrero? I'm used to seeing him be a bully, this and that, walk guys down. But they forget I have the boxing skills on the outside too. So, and then when I came back, my wife's like, hey, you better be boxing. I don't want to see banging it out with these guys or not just get retired. All right, do boxing.
Yeah, and since you've made your comeback, you've been making waves. And how does it feel to be in the mix again?
Oh, it feels great.
Yeah,
it feels great. But one thing with me is I take care of myself all the time.
Yeah.
I'm always in great shape. I keep myself in the gym all the time. I got Robert Jr. I go running with. And I tell him, I better not be catching you. I'm all ready. So you better be on your game.
Yeah. So you guys are almost accountability too for each other, training partners together. You're sort of in the trenches together. How special and unique is that?
Oh, it's awesome. Especially this last camp I did for Berto. We were out in Vegas. I was able to take him out there and told him, hey, I'm going to pull you out of school. Take you to camp with me because you're getting ready to do some professional. I want you to experience it. Because he's came into camp for like a day or two or a weekend or a week. And, usually when they would come into camp to visit me, it'd be more like I'll go train and then spend time with them and then that's about it. And this time I'm like, hey, you're coming to camp with me and you get to experience a camp how it really goes. So I was out there training, running out about Charleston, all the physical training, dieting, everything that went along with the sparring, alongside of me. So I want him to be able to experience what type of work it takes to be ready for a professional top elite fight. So he was able to experience that, and now he knows what it's about. So I mean, it's incredible, and it's incredible to be able to do that, especially being able to train and still compete at a high level while my son's coming into the professional.
I can't think of anyone else in the game. Like, you see father-son duos, in boxing, but I can't think of anyone else in the game right now that has this setup. This is very special, very, very special. Robert Jr., what was that experience like in Vegas at that pro camp for you?
I loved it because it was my own choice. He said you could either stay in school and, work on your education, or you could come train with me.
Hard choice.
He's like, you can come with me.
Let me think.
Yeah, I know, right? I was like, I'm going with you like that. But you didn't got to tell me twice. But I really enjoyed it because it really put my mind in perspective of what it takes to be at that top level. And knowing me, I kept up with all the training and running and not so much the dieting, but yeah, I know that I have what it takes to be on that top level, and it was really a blessing, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I pushed him to the limits a lot. I made him do a lot of the workout and just make me grind. So it's like you said, it truly is a blessing to be able to experience that with my son, and man, it's incredible.
That's amazing. Now, I feel really actually privileged I get to ask, an up and coming pro this question. We got a lot of conversations right now about whether crossover boxing is good for boxing or if it's bad for boxing. You got these guys coming in from, mixed martial arts, or you got these YouTubers coming into the pro stage, getting to kind of cherry pick their start. How does that make you feel as a young professional, having to grind your way through and seeing kind of people slipstream a little bit?
I think it's cool to an extent because it's bringing a lot of younger viewers to boxing, and it's bringing a lot more lights to boxing. Like Jake Paul, he's doing really good in boxing right now. So he's bringing a lot of, since he was a YouTuber, now he's just focusing on boxing. But in the earlier stages, he was bringing a lot of young kids to boxing, and it's really, like I said, to an extent, because most of these YouTuber fighters, they don't get like the respect like they want. It's like, oh, you're just a YouTube fighter. You're not a real boxer. So that's really what everybody kind of sees them as.
Yeah. And Robert, for you, like, this is new, right? This wasn't around when you began your career, even probably for most of your career. How do you feel about it?
I think it's great. You know, especially for the amateur system in boxing. It's bringing a lot more eyes, different type of fans, and I mean, it's just another outlet of fans that come and pay to watch fighters, and also too, now you get these kids that are really following boxing because they're seeing these YouTubers do it. Well, they get more interested. They start doing more research. They start looking at other fighters, especially guys like Robert Jr., other kids that you do somewhat social media. They're able to build a following. So, boxing fans are thinking.
That's awesome. Yeah, I always like to get people's perspective on it. It seems to be kind of a controversial. Some people are for it, some people against. So I think you guys are probably, some of the best people to poll on the topic, because you each have, different ends of the career to speak from, and different experiences with it real time.
I think for me, because I've had incredible paydays in boxing, and I've been to the top, the heights of boxing, the pinnacle. I mean, nothing gets bigger than Mayweather besides Canelo. So, you get a lot of fighters that are gliding out there, to make it happen. They're not getting that like that big NBC through the end, and like giving that love, like Jake Paul, fighting on Showtime, pay-per-view, and stuff like that. A lot of stuff, but it comes down to your ratings on TV. What kind of numbers you can pull. Also to putting butts in the seats. If you can fill an arena, they love you. I think a lot of these fighters that are kind of bitter about it, what they need to do is take a page out of these YouTuber guys and see how they marketing themselves, because the reason why they're getting this type of treatment is because of how they're marketing themselves. And I mean, they can learn from that, where like these YouTubers want to learn from these good fighters that are destroying people. They're wanting to learn that stuff. So if you go back and forth, but it's unfortunate that that's the way boxing is with some fighters. I mean, you can be 30-0 and still in that grind. So I can see why they would be kind of nagging bitter. For me, I was just fortunate to have a great team around me, and I work my butt off all the time and work hard. And I think it's a great avenue for my son to be able to tap into that market too with these YouTubers and stuff like that, with training and teaching them things and going back and forth, because the bigger you are, the better it is for to set yourself up for the long run.
That's a really good point. So you're almost saying, don't get pissed about it, get involved in it, learn from it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I like that perspective. I think both sides can definitely learn from each other, and in the process elevate each other to new heights in your career. So that's a really good perspective. Now, we got a lot of big fights coming up. 2024 is shaping up to be a hell of a year. Not including your own fights, of course. What ones are you most excited to watch?
I'm excited. Man, I'm excited to watch everything. I just love boxing.
Yeah.
I love boxing, and just to watch all the fights that are coming up. Like everybody else, I'm hoping going to be there that Guerrero gets made. I would like to see. I would personally like to see Connor Ban and Boots Ennis, or Mario Barrios and Boots Ennis. So that them three guys, some kind of they're all young guys, and see who excels from there. But there's a lot of fights. I'm excited to see Ryan Garcia and
Devin Haney.
That's going to be a great fight. I mean, that's going to be a great event. I'm excited. Excited to see that, especially they have a lot of amateur history together.
Oh yeah, and it's heating up. Yes.
Yeah. So too bad that Usyk and Westcott got postponed.
Fury got pushed back. Yeah. The elbow to the eye, and there was some funny gossip going around about Fury's camp saying that there was a mole in the camp, and they were feeding into the Usyk. I just love it. Like I just love the circus. Like that just excites me. I think it's hilarious. Robert Jr., what about you? What are you looking forward to in 2024 apart from your own pro debut, which of course is the #1 spot?
I'm mostly looking forward to that Ryan Garcia Devin Haney, because when he announced it, I was like, it was gonna be a good one. And then like 2 days later after that, they posted that video of them getting a little tussle.
Little physical. Yeah.
Yeah. The one that I'm really excited about is Tim Tszyu and Keith Thurman. That's going to be a good fight. I'm excited to see Keith come over here and, make a name for himself. But I think Keith Thurman's kind of underestimated him, kind of almost the way he did with Pacquiao. So it's going to be a good one. I'm excited about that.
Speaking of Pacquiao, we've got him talking about, trying to make a comeback, calling out, Gervonta Davis, and exactly. And then he was just denied the Paris Olympics on an age technicality, but Pacquiao seems to be out there doing it. And then it spurred up a whole bunch of, other retired fighters like Mike Tyson, Mark Hunt, guys from, Pride, and everyone's talking about making a comeback. So 2024 is going to be exciting. We also have Kambosos and Lomachenko fighting. What do you guys think about that one?
I think it's going to be a good fight. Kambosos throws a lot of punches like he does. I think he's going to make it an interesting fight. The one thing is how technical Lomachenko is. He's really technical. I just think, if you box Kambosos with a good jab, it makes it tough for him because he's one of those guys that likes to punch with you. The exchange. So, it's going to be a great fight. I mean, there's a lot of great fights coming out. I'm excited that Pacquiao wanted to come back because, man, I've been trying to get that Pacquiao fight for, I don't know how
You got to
long.
call it. He's hungry right now. You got to call it. Got to get out there and call it out. Because, now I would love to see that now.
Now let's make it happen.
Okay.
Remember the video game Pac-Man versus Ghost?
Yeah.
He's been running for me for a long time, and I'm chasing him.
Oh yes, it's too good.
To turn around and let go.
Yeah, it's too good. It needs to happen.
Yeah.
You guys, it has been such a pleasure chatting with you. Honestly, just the how do I say this? Just like your energy together as a father and son, and just everything you've mentioned just about your family, and I just think you guys got something real special going on in there. I mean that sincerely, and it's been an honor to just chat with you guys and get to know you, and we'll be watching your career with very close eyes. I hope to be present and see both of you take the ring very soon if the stars align. So just thank you very much.
Yeah, well, you're his second interview on.
Hey, awesome. Yeah, and you know what?
When you win that world title, you tell me I'm the first.
Yeah, I was going to say, Dad's media training's paying off. You did real good.
Thank you.
Make sure to listen, follow, and subscribe to Empire Boxing on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube.